Welcome back. Today we will consider a chilling question. What would happen if the United States, alongside the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO alliance, went to war with Russia and China at the same time? As we know, the United States and NATO have already been engaged in an escalating conflict with Russia. And now, with the emergence of a high-threat situation involving China, the prospect of a war on two fronts becomes a real possibility. In such a scenario, the US and NATO forces would face enormous challenges. They would have to allocate resources and military personnel to two distinct theaters of war, stretching their capabilities and potentially leaving some regions vulnerable. Additionally, the economic impact of a large-scale global conflict with both Russia and China would be staggering. Trade routes could be disrupted, and the global economy could plunge into a severe recession. As the war unfolds, nations around the world would have to choose sides, leading to a potential realignment of global alliances and power structures. In the next part of this episode, we will explore the military strategies that the US and NATO could employ in such a conflict, and how Russia and China might respond. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this chilling hypothetical scenario. Want to see more? You can now binge-watch all episodes of our series on our website. Get started today and explore the potential of the next world war. As the situation with Russia and the United States alongside NATO reaches a critical point, China starts making strategic moves of its own. The Chinese military begins to amass around the self-governed independent island of Taiwan. This development raises alarm bells across the international community. With the escalating conflict between the US, NATO, and Russia, the US military assets in the region are already stretched thin. The presence of Chinese military forces around Taiwan indicates that China might be looking to take advantage of this chaotic situation. The government of Taiwan, aware of the increased military activity around its borders, starts to mobilize its own defense forces. The citizens of Taiwan brace for potential military aggression from China, as the possibility of a Chinese invasion looms larger with each passing day. International observers speculate about the motives behind China's actions. Some believe China is seeking to test the US and NATO's resolve during this crisis, while others think that China is genuinely preparing for an invasion of Taiwan. US and NATO military leaders are forced to reassess their strategy as they grapple with the prospect of fighting a war on two fronts. The United States must now make tough decisions on how to allocate its military resources between the European and Asian theaters. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continue as world leaders try to de-escalate the situation and prevent an all-out war. However, the rapidly evolving geopolitical landscape makes finding a peaceful resolution to these conflicts increasingly challenging. As the global community watches anxiously, the situation in both Europe and Asia becomes more precarious by the day. The possibility of a simultaneous war with Russia and China has now become a genuine concern, with potentially devastating consequences for all parties involved. As tensions with Russia continue, military command assessments reveal an even higher confrontational risk with China. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the United States and NATO leaders decide to shift their focus and begin deploying and redirecting military assets to the China region. The decision to redirect military assets does not come lightly. With limited resources, the United States and NATO face the challenge of maintaining a strong presence in Europe while also preparing for a potential conflict with China. As military assets are redirected, the international community grows increasingly concerned. Analysts warn that the redirection of forces could be perceived as a sign of weakness by Russia and potentially embolden them to escalate their actions in Europe. In response to the US and NATO's actions, China ramps up its military exercises near Taiwan. The People's Liberation Army Navy, PLAN, conducts live fire drills and showcases its advanced naval capabilities, sending a clear message to the world. Taiwan's government continues to mobilize its defense forces in preparation for a possible Chinese invasion. The United States and NATO allies provide logistical support and share intelligence to bolster Taiwan's military readiness. While the United States and NATO focus on the China region, they continue to maintain a presence in Europe. As they work to counterbalance the threats from both Russia and China, the global community remains on edge, fearing that any miscalculation could lead to an all-out war. As the world watches, diplomatic channels remain open in an attempt to find a peaceful resolution to both the Russian and Chinese situations. However, the stakes are high, and it is unclear whether diplomacy alone can avert a potentially catastrophic conflict. The United States and NATO face a delicate balancing act as they try to navigate these two major geopolitical crises. The outcome will have far-reaching consequences, not only for the countries directly involved, but for the entire global community. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed about the latest World War III worst-case scenario episodes. Thank you for watching. To stay up to date with our latest releases, all you've got to do is follow us across our various social media platforms. We're talking Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're there. Thank you for watching our channel. There's a whole lot more where that came from. Interested in binge-watching all episodes today? Head over to our website to access our entire media library using the URL link in the description. Ready to test your World War II knowledge? Which two countries were the first to declare war on Germany? Provide your answer or response in the YouTube comment box below. Stay tuned for the right answer. The answer is the country of Britain and the country of France. As tensions escalate in the Asia-Pacific region, President Joe Biden decides to address the situation head-on. In a televised address, he warns China of the economic and military consequences they will face if they decide to invade Taiwan, a self-governed independent island that China considers a breakaway region. President Biden emphasizes the United States' commitment to a free and democratic Taiwan, asserting that any attempt to forcibly reunify the island with mainland China would be met with a strong and unified response from the international community. China, however, remains undeterred by the U.S. president's warning. The Chinese government issues a statement, reaffirming their commitment to the One China policy, and asserting that the reunification of Taiwan is an internal matter that should not involve external interference. Global financial markets react to the increasingly tense situation, with investors growing concerned about the potential fallout of a conflict between the United States and China. Stock markets around the world experience significant declines, while commodity prices, such as oil and gold, soar. Despite the strong rhetoric, back-channel diplomatic efforts continue between the United States, China, and other international stakeholders. World leaders hope to find a peaceful solution to the crisis and avoid further escalation that could lead to a full-scale war. In an attempt to deter China from moving forward with an invasion of Taiwan, the United States and NATO allies step up joint military exercises in the region. These exercises are designed to demonstrate their commitment to Taiwan's defense and their readiness to respond to any aggression. The situation remains highly volatile, with the world anxiously watching the developments in the Asia-Pacific region. Citizens around the globe hope that diplomacy will prevail, but with tensions high and military assets on the move, the risk of a catastrophic conflict looms large. As the global conflict between Russia and China versus the United States and NATO intensifies, the world economy plunges into chaos. The intricate web of international trade and investment begins to unravel, as countries are forced to take sides or risk being caught in the crossfire. U.S. companies find themselves particularly vulnerable to China's economic blockades and retaliatory measures. With extensive supply chains running through China and a large consumer market that many American companies rely on for revenue, the conflict has a devastating impact on the U.S. economy. In response to the deteriorating economic situation, governments around the world implement emergency measures in an attempt to stabilize their economies. These measures include rationing of essential goods, currency controls, and increased government spending on infrastructure and defense. As the crisis deepens, citizens across the globe begin to feel the impact of the conflict in their daily lives. Prices for essential goods skyrocket, unemployment rates soar, and social unrest begins to spread in cities worldwide. The economic chaos serves as a stark reminder of the interconnected nature of the global economy and the potential consequences when diplomatic relations break down. The longer the conflict continues, the more dire the situation becomes, as nations struggle to adapt to the new reality of a world in turmoil. As tensions reach a boiling point, China takes decisive military action. In a shocking display of force, they mobilize troops and launch a barrage of missile attacks on Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea. The unprovoked attacks catch the world off guard, and countries scramble to respond to the rapidly escalating situation. The targeted nations, now facing a direct threat from China, call upon the United States and NATO for support and assistance. As the world watches in horror, it becomes apparent that the conflict has expanded far beyond the initial skirmishes between Russia and NATO. Now, the entire globe finds itself on the brink of an unprecedented and devastating war. Want to see more? You can now binge-watch all episodes of our series on our website. Get started today and explore the potential of the next world war. Arm yourself with the power of advanced AI for video creation, high-quality copy generation, a diverse range of freelance services, top-notch hosting options, and the ultimate online privacy protection. Don't miss out on exclusive discounts and promotions. Sign up today by clicking on the links in the description. Your journey towards creating compelling content starts now.